Hi friends, today I am going to review the book, What Management Is, How It Works and Why It's Everyone's Business by Joan Magretta and Nan. A Misunderstood Profession. Management guru Peter F. Drucker once observed that business often appears to be a seemingly mindless game of chance at which any donkey could win provided that he be ruthless. Those who have made a career of management would contend that there's a little more to it than that. Most management books are for managers. This one is for everyone today. All of us live in a world of management's making. Management remains a misunderstood profession, although it is a key driver of the progress of modern society, making it healthier and more productive. Since people rarely view business management in this light, its general reputation continues to decline steadily. In part, this is because onlookers commonly perceive management as the craft of supervising others. In reality, management isn't primarily about watching others do their work and ensuring that they do it right. The actual business of management is to create value. If customers, stakeholders and the marketplace generally agree that a business has generated good value for the resources it expends, the business is on sound footing. Management's job is to make sure that happens. This is not a how-to book. Its purpose is to explain the underlying why of both the theory and practice of management. Who defines value? If management's goal is to increase value, who determines the objectives? Value takes many forms and has many interpretations. Individual customers perceive value in very varied ways. What is valuable to one may not be so valuable to another. Management must define value itself and must latch onto the goal of creating value for its customers. Activities such as selling software or manufacturing automobiles are not a company's real business. The real business of every firm is to create value. In this social sense, an organization is a means to an end, not an end in itself. Management must remind everyone in the organization, continually, of the importance of this external focus. Customers don't care how much ingenuity or hard work goes into making your product. They don't care about your supply chain or your distribution network. What matters to them is the value your product or service brings to their lives and businesses. Business models. A business model is a set of assumptions about how an organization will generate value. The expansive growth of new ventures, primarily associated with the Internet, has stimulated the discussion of business models. A good business model tells a good story. The model must make sense to investors and consumers. A clear and fairly simple business proposition, or model, that everyone can understand is the foundation of every successful enterprise. Value creation is the animating principle of modern management and is its chief responsibility. In some sense, creating a new business model is like writing a new story, and new stories are always variations of old ones. Developing the right story and the right business model shapes management's value creation mission. Companies must relate stories that reflect their personalities and priorities. At 3M, for example, stories stress inventiveness. Strategy. To make a business model work, management must see the big picture, and that's where strategy plays a role. Almost everyone agrees that strategy is important, yet almost no one agrees on what strategy is. Everything from elaborate analytical exercises to strategic plans to brainstorming to simple mission statements is crowded together in this tent. Small wonder then that people often respond skeptically to so-called strategy sessions. Ignore the importance of strategy at your peril. Ultimately, it is critical to your organization's performance. One of management's chief responsibilities is to remember this external orientation and to remind others about it constantly. Your company needs a solid business model that describes its business relationships and the activities that determine its survival. Within this model, strategy acknowledges competition. It means that while doing better than you have done before is good, you must also do better than your competition is doing. Consumers exist in a world of alternatives, and every decision your organization makes influences its position vis-a-vis those competitive alternatives. Basic disciplines. A hallmark of excellent managers is their ability to deliver consistent results year in and year out. When someone says that a manager will deliver the numbers, that's high praise indeed. The ability to deliver results is not always a factor of work effort. Nor is it a gift of birth that some have and others lack. Rather, the keys to consistent excellence are a handful of basic performance disciplines. Creating a new business model is not unlike writing a new story. At some level, all new stories are variations on old ones, reworkings of the universal themes that underlie human experience. The first is the 80-20 rule, often referred to as the principle of imbalance. It says that a fraction of a company's entire effort creates a disproportionate share of that company's results. Sales departments, for example, state that typically 80% of their sales come from 20% of their customers. Probably, 80% of your company's profits come from about 20% of its products. And, finally, if you analyze your own household budget, you're likely to find that about 80% of your expenditure is generated by approximately 20% of the items you buy. What makes strategy hard is that no organization acts in a vacuum. While you are excavating your moat, someone else across town be working on a new catapult. Continuous improvement. Companies often begin the move toward greater quality by asking customers to identify what they value about a given product or service. GE calls these critical to quality elements, or CTQs. They are also referred to by the business jargon term, as in, the drivers of quality are. Pareto's law contains good news and bad news. The bad news is that most effort is wasted. In fact, 80% of it brings about only 20% of your results. The good news is that if you refocus even a modest amount of your firm's energy into more productive pursuits, you'll enjoy a significant benefit. Essentially, Pareto's law offers a discipline for improved performance. Apply the 80-20 principle consistently because, like all disciplines, it isn't intuitive. To avoid scattering your attention among various issues, use the 80-20 insight to enable you to work smarter rather than harder. The prevailing bias is decidedly against bigness, and anything that might stifle the entrepreneurial spirit. Striving continually to get better at what you do is another important, fundamental business concept. This idea, which exists in many variations, is known by different names, including Moore's Law, Kaizen, a Japanese term popularized by Toyota's management, and continuous improvement. This notion says that you not only need to improve, you need to improve your rate of improvement. The path to doing so is to get a little better each day. Leading people. Warren Buffett once observed that the people you hire should have 3 qualities: integrity, intelligence and energy. And, he added, if they don't have the first quality, the other 2 qualities will kill you. As Buffett's observation suggests, values come first. Professors of management science tend to divide business into 2 realms, that of numbers and that of people. The hard subjects are numbers, finance and operations. The soft topics concern human nature and motivation. Unfortunately, this distinction makes a sensible difference only in the classroom. Not only do managers have more data at their disposal than ever before, they have it faster, in so-called real time. Most people are deeply and rightly resistant to being managed. In many ways, the secret of managing people is that you don't. Top performers always manage to maximize the value of their time themselves. Management's role is to provide the values that create a context for this self-management process. In fact, people must manage themselves. The challenge is to strike the right balance. On the one hand, talented individuals resist being managed. Each one wants passionately to be valued as unique. Gifted contributors deserve this respect. On the other hand, all performance depends on collaboration and teamwork. Resolving this tension between the individual and the organization is at the heart of management's work. Increasingly, a shared sense of values is the solution. Today, most companies proclaim loudly their respect for the individual. Too often this commitment is insincere. Albert Einstein once observed that setting an example isn't the main way of influencing others, but the only way. So, if your organization genuinely respects the individual, how does that translate into management practice? Begin with a very clear notion of the values and skills you want to recruit for your organization. Bring in people whose characteristics are compatible with the company's values. Stories are an excellent method for encouraging people to behave a certain way and for communicating your organization's values. Your job as a manager is to create a culture that makes it feasible for workers to manage themselves. Values play a key role. What comes next? First, think honestly about your organization. How is it doing? Is your company measuring up to its potential or falling short? To meet the goal of creating value by providing discipline that facilitates joint performance and self-management, consider these essentials. 1. Purpose. You must have a vision, a drive to accomplish a mission that is worthy of the effort required. 2. Management must communicate that purpose clearly. 3. Arrange your organization to accomplish the purpose intended. 3. Account for the realities of a competitive landscape. 4. You are designing the organizational vehicle that will carry out your vision, so you must create an enterprise that is fit for its purpose and that is able to respond to the realities of external competition. 5. Execution. Having a great theoretical plan is not enough. 5. You and your organization must be able to execute, to perform, to make a difference and to get things done. 6. The ability to get goals accomplished is management's ultimate yardstick. Betting on the future. Today's managers are like the marine navigators of old. They must fix their eyes on the horizon to determine where they're going, and yet they must never forget the reality of their current position on the ocean. Managers know that they and their organizations must innovate or fall behind. They must make investments, without assurance that every investment will be rewarded. In other words, they must take risks and be right. Southwest's culture is responsible for keeping its employees happy, satisfied, dedicated and energetic. The idea that work should be fun is one of its core values. Given that the business of management is the creation of value, the quality of management's investments is critically important. Despite the stakes involved, good management must be entrepreneurial, rather than hidebound. Managers must have the courage to make decisions about the future, regardless of its uncertainties. No value is more universally and loudly proclaimed in organizations than respect for the individual. Many tools are available to help managers assess the risks and benefits of various investments. Managers must take advantage of them, but realize that these tools merely assist their judgment and do not obviate the need for informed decisions. Management's abilities have limits. In many organizations, the demands on management surpass any individual's ability to respond. That is why management's effectiveness should be evaluated on both an individual and a team basis. A management team must have a breadth of skills and perspectives, yet must coordinate its efforts so that its total contribution exceeds the sum of its individual parts. Working together, the team can accomplish goals that would be impossible for individuals operating alone to achieve. Takeaways. 1. The primary function of management is to create value. 2. Management is misunderstood, perhaps because it is closely associated with the task of supervision. 3. Every successful company has a successful business model. 4. Creating a new business model is like writing a new story. It draws from prior stories to create the next saga. 5. The essential element of strategy is that it acknowledges that a company must do better relative to its competition. 6. Pareto's law, the 80-20 rule, suggests that the key to effective management is to focus your efforts properly. 7. The most important quality to look for in new hires and promotions is integrity. 8. The secret to managing people is to inspire them to manage themselves. 9. Management must strike a balance between the needs of the individual and the needs of the group. 10. Managers must ultimately succeed or fail as a team, not as individuals. 10. If you enjoy our content and would like to stay updated with our latest videos, please like, share and consider subscribing to our YouTube channel. 10. Your support means a lot to us. 11. Thank you so much for watching.